So there it is, an anniversary UAZ. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and its ass the same size. Jubilee UAZ. Life is not as simple as crossing a field. In 1,958 years, UAZ 450 appeared. In the 65th year appeared UAZ 452. Find the differences, they are still visually clear. In 1985, the next modernization appeared. In 2011, modernization again. And in 2018, Magnificent Jubilee UAZ appears. Find 20 differences and win a prize. 60 years of watching the same black and white movie. And I love it. The 450th series was born in agony. It was the first independent development by the Ulyanovsk automobile factory after the design documentation for the 69th model was transferred to them. And so, the 450th series became truly monumental. You may ask why Zhiguli and Vazis rusted? It's because all the good metal was used here. It's still good here. In front of you is the crown of Ulyanovsk creation. Bukhanka, which is 60 years old, and it hasn't changed a bit, earning its Russian nickname from its distinctive loaf-like shape, reminiscent of a loaf of bread. Is it good or bad for you to judge? For me, it's, you know. Jubilee series, you may ask, how is it different? Well, it's not really, except for the two-tone coloring. Even this plastic thing hasn't been removed, which I would have done, but it's still beautiful. What do you think of this visor? I think it's the visor that the Japanese love it for. Here there's even a little hole in the seal for fresh air to come in. Well, that's what I just noticed. You see, the build quality is the same as it was 80 years ago, but on the other hand, it's the right thing to do. Everything should have the entourage, authenticity, beauty. That's the power of Russia. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And its ass the same size. And it's beautiful. Just by looking at the rear, you can immediately tell it's a... God! I should be praising it, because pretty much anyone can diss it. But I want you to truly appreciate it. Anybody can badmouth a car, but finding a diamond among them is as difficult as finding a needle in a haystack. And this way only. There's no other way to shut the door. I always liked this hole here when I was a kid. I don't know. Maybe it's some kind of teen's erotic fantasy. You know, that unconscious teenage thing where any hole seems hypnotic to you. I mean, you could say I'm a pervert. Or maybe I am a pervert, if I like the UAZ. Do you hear this sound? Oops. There are things you don't need to see. But I have no words, you know, comrades. No words to describe this beauty. I'm in awe. I'm crying. I want to say something, but the words melt within me. Just like... the Great Russian Longing. I feel like thinking about Yesenin. For some reason, whenever I get into the trunk of any UAZ, I'm immediately struck by a profound sense of Great Russian longing. It's so intangible, so immense. I love everyone. Yet I could just as well kill them. That's probably the closest you can get to explaining it. Have you seen how the doors close? They were closing like that. In 1958, and now, in 2018, exactly like this. For whom the bell tolls. Let's be serious. You know what's in here? It's a towing eye. That's it. Emergency exit. Only a Russian can understand what it is. If you tell a foreigner, it's an emergency exit. God, why am I even surprised? By the way, on the Jubilee car, there is also this feature. Nice emblem. Jubilee, 58th year, UAZ. It resembles that very first emblem from pre-Seagull Wing era installed on the 450th UAZ. And that's it. No, I came here for this one key. Watch the trick. Witness this technological breakthrough. 1. Key. For all doors in the ignition. By the way, this is an optional extra, gentlemen. Not available on regular Bukhankas. When you open the door, you step into a sanctuary. It is unmistakably crafted by Russian hands, adorned with crosses everywhere. There's no need for icons here. Just crosses, crosses, crosses. There's even an altar depicting the defeat of Satan. And there it is, right here in front of you. An upside-down devil's head with horns downturned. A green window of hellfire glowing from above. Occasionally, eerie sounds emanate from the depths of hell. Let me demonstrate it to you now. Nope, I won't. I always forget my keys. Only sinners in hell can scream like that, you know? In the UAZ car, you are always in a state of struggle. It's the battle between good and evil, white and black, right and wrong. But if we talk seriously about the UAZ car, I have a question. If this is the anniversary version, why did you leave these strange gauges? They can only be appreciated by Vasily, who drinks beer in the back seat. Is it to emphasize his charm, or is it to shield him from the horror visible through the windshield? It's a big mystery to me. The gauges have to be around here somewhere. But the most touching thing is this. The clutch. Master. Cylinder. And inside, there is a rusty bracket. You know, seeing rust on new cars is... Well, on the UAZ in particular, you don't take it seriously because you love the car. It's your favorite girl. But imagine if a big pustular pimple popped up on the forehead of your lovely girl. I mean, it's not like it ruins her beauty, but you are not so eager to kiss it. That's the issue. There's a shelf, just like it says, for the stereo. Heated seats in this Jubilee configuration. Not for an extra cash, oh no, but as standard package. Comfortable seats, really comfortable. They're adjustable. In length, yuck. There you go, but ask me, who actually drives like this? I don't know. And the backrest is adjustable too. Everything is beautifully trimmed. Handmade by the looks of it. The keys, the tank, the cabin heater, the devilish fire. Lots of nice things. But the emptiness, you know, emptiness. It's the 21st century, and there's not a single USB input. And there's nowhere to put your phone, really. And now you're not just in a Bukhanka, you're in a Jubilee Edition UAZ. These visors. Attention driver. The open rear swing doors of your vehicle obstruct the visibility of the rear lights to other road users. In case your vehicle stops, you must A. Turn on the hazard warning lights. B. If the rear swing doors are fully open, place a warning triangle on the road in accordance with the traffic regulations and the requirements of State Standard GOST R 41.2799. There's even a prayer. I'm truly touched. There's one here too, but I won't show you. What do you think about this fancy leather trim? You think I'm messing with you? Yeah, I am. Openly, honestly, just to please those folks who don't really understand the beauty of the UAZ car. Even this anniversary one, even a fresh one, it doesn't matter which. There is no point in looking back here. It is like being on a bus. The only thing worth mentioning that the seat is coated with Teflon to repel, so to speak, moisture and dirt. There's also the divine UAZ folding table, which makes the car beloved by fishermen and tourists. A very useful rear shelf that limits the seat, allowing a person to sit only up to 1.75 meters. It's a bit difficult for my legs here, but as a Russian, I'm used to it. There are also holes here, like right here. They are not just for show. They don't even need to be covered. They really emphasize the DIY spirit of the UAZ. Wires and nuts are visible, sticking out. They are for the turn signals on the side rails. That's how it is everywhere here. You look at it and realize you can do it all yourself. All of this. By the way, there's a sliding window in the back that says emergency exit. Behind the seat, there's the cabin heater and a jack in a bag. There's a battery and some kind of relay. Some large, modern relay. Well, that's it. There are some wires hanging down. Well, that's probably how it's supposed to be. It's all neat and tidy. Everything sticks out, everything's hooks. Now, onto the engine. It's like I'm dissecting a turtle. That's the kind of feelings I have. Thermal insulation. White trough. Everything is spot on. I didn't realize the turtle was falling out of its shell. Okay. And here... By the way, where's this going? Let's say here. Soundproof. Okay. Zemze. 409, with a displacement of 2,693 cubic centimeters. 16 valves, and about 112 horsepower. It's the same engine as in the Patriot, but slightly detuned, just a tiny little bit. By the way, do you know what the most challenging part of creating the Bukhanka was? The steering mechanism. That is really the hardest part of making the 450th. Gazanchik, UAZ, was the steering mechanism. Because, as you can see, the engine is positioned slightly further away. No, yes, just above the front axle. It's quite remarkable. Well, they managed to squeeze it in, thank God. 112 at 4,250 RPM. 198 Newton meters at 2,500 RPM. In general, actually, it's quite a good engine. Can't deny the truth. At least it's understandable and reliable. We'll never have diesels. Our own diesels. And even if we do, it won't change anything. We need to put a blanket on the horse. What is the horse without a horse blanket? Can you even imagine that? It's... What's wrong with that? All right, we'll give it time. The rugged roots of the Gaz-69, aka Kozlik, the goat in Russian, are still present in this car, although Bukhanka is much softer. Well, it's probably due to the longer wheelbase, and probably different springs. But the essence of the matter does not change. I can honestly say, driving the Bukhanka off-road is a pure pleasure. 5-speed gearbox. A strange Chinese invention. I can't understand why. The comrades from Ulyanovsk chose this particular gearbox. It is almost impossible to engage the first gear properly. Really. It engages with a sort of crunch, and anything that crunches will break sooner or later. That said, thanks to the engine, that still pulls well. Long gears make the ride quite comfortable. There's a regular UAZ transfer case with 2 levers. Left lever, classic of the genre. Downshift. Right short lever for engaging the front axle. There's an Iton rear axle lock. It's engaged with a button on the left-hand side. Whether it will be needed today or not, I don't know. But it's there. And that means the car is essentially ready to be pushed to its limits off-road. Wagon body. Primarily designed for the Army to accommodate 4 stretchers. That's the main purpose. The body itself consists of stamped panels welded together and installed on the frame. This panel construction simplifies manufacturing and allows easy modification of the Bukhanka into different variants, such as a pill, ambulance, or tadpole, troop carrier. Suspension works well, very well. It makes my soul happy. As I mentioned before, on the Renault Duster scale, on par with the Renault Duster. There's no need to nitpick on Renault Duster. Renault Duster is a good car with a solid suspension suitable for our Russian conditions. That is the most important thing. It feels like the rear-wheel drive is really kicking in here. The rear end feels lighter. On gravel, it goes fully Tokyo drift. But it's still stable, very good. It's simply a pleasure to take corners. Plus ABS. Plus power steering. Turn left, yeah? Asphalt. The last time I drove a Bukhanka, driving that old car, some 80-something years old one, was truly a horror. It was difficult, hard, stuffy, uncomfortable. But now, with these new seats, it's a completely different story. The Spicer axles are undivided, adding excitement to the ride. Whether they're more reliable than the old ones, well, that's debatable. Those who've used them can share your thoughts in the comments, but that's just for me, to understand whether they are better or worse. From a comfort perspective, Spicer axles are better. Plus, after all, there's the 5-speed gearbox. Though, there's one complaint here. You engage 5th gear, you're going so damn fast, you squeeze the clutch, and you can't shift back to 4th. Because there's a secret. You've got to bang it. Look, I'm gonna show you. 5th. Toward you. 4th. Magic! Asphalt, gravel, country roads, and just anywhere you can drive. But drive comfortably, with a clearance of 220 millimeters, minimal overhangs with angles, 30 degrees at the rear, and 36 at the front. By the way, the threshold height is 48 centimeters, which is also significant. Water obstacles are a whole different pleasure. On paper, it's 0.7, but in life, it's all about how fearless you are. Bukhanka is longer than Kozlik, aka Gaz 69, and it is necessary to remember that a sturdy hood won't protect you from branches, and you realize why there is a steel visor above the windshield. What a beauty. And sitting over the front axle feels like a fairy tale. You hit a rut, and it's not that scary. Well, kind of. The tree is right there, and your face is right in front of it. Like a curious child peeking into a closet. So, from what other car can you pour water out of the cabin with this enthusiasm? Do you think I just came here for no reason? This is the Smordina River. Remember old Russian folk tales? Like the Styx, this river marks the boundary between the living and the dead. Only on the ancient can you get to the ancient. And we're trying to find one of the smallest dinosaurs of the Triassic period. Celophysis. That's it, let's tidy it up. It wasn't the largest or most fearsome predator of its period. Adults reached up to 3 meters long, while juveniles were about 2 meters long and about 1.5 meters tall. And most importantly, it's a very lightweight dinosaur, weighing 15 to maybe 30 kilograms at most. Do you know what celophysis means? Its name, prehistoric lizard, was given by scientist Edward Cope in 1889th year. It means hollow form, referring to its hollow bones with a calcium shell. Well, this adaptation makes a lot of sense. Less weight, more speed. Firstly, you shouldn't turn your back on them. They are predators after all. Celophysis lived and hunted in packs. I'm gonna press myself up against a tree just to be safe. And they hunted, you know, in packs, ambushing larger herbivores or driving them into dangerous places before attacking. Due to their small teeth, they couldn't kill the prey instantly. They'd bite down, causing the victim to bleed out and die, after which the celophyses would start eating. Additionally, scientists believe that celophyses weren't picky and would scavenge. They picked up scraps. You, don't breathe on me. Get out of here. My eyes are starting to glisten. Now, the larger relatives couldn't nibble the bones, and celophyses, thanks to their small teeth, were perfectly happy to take advantage of that. Funny how, in the early 2000s, scientists thought that celophysis was cannibalistic and ate its own kind. Always try to keep either a tree, a rock, or a cameraman behind your back. Now, a celophysis skeleton was found, with what was assumed to be a small baby celophysis inside. But upon examination, it turned out that this skeleton belonged to a completely different species of dinosaur. So we can say that celophyses were probably good parents. Bull! Honestly, the way it drives on the tarmac, it's like a completely different car. Top speed is 130 km/h, and I've gone up to 125. But it's comfortable at around 90 to 100 km/h. The official fuel consumption is a little over 11, but in my experience, it feels more around 12 to 13, depending on how you press the gas pedal. The cost is roughly $8,500. The exact same one, with no frills and in plain gray or green color, would cost $7,400, depending on any interesting extras you decide to add to your car. But the Jubilee Bukhanka is a car that is written in the history of the plant. It is not just a Bukhanka, not just something ordinary. This is a Jubilee series. There's a small nuance. The exact number to be produced is unknown. If 469th series were produced only 469 pieces, how many of the pseudo-450th will be produced is unclear. And I'm afraid there won't be 450 of them made, as they likely won't be in as much demand as the 469th anniversary series. But for all that, this is an amazing car. Only on the highway. It's nice, soft, comfortable. Everything's great, but I feel sorry for the driver. I feel sorry for myself. To press the brake pedal, you have to lift your foot above the steering wheel, just like with the clutch. And if you have to depress the clutch and the brake at the same time, you feel like Spider-Man, you're flailing around like this, except you're not clapping with your feet. Pedal unit in UAZ is a legend, just like the gear shift knob in the 66th. Well, it might not be this groundbreaking. But I bet you didn't know that in 1959th, Ulyanovsk Automobile Factory produced an electric car based on the Bukhanka for servicing airports. 59th! Your Tesla didn't even... Well, Tesla with Elon Musk weren't even planned at that time. And the Ulyanovsk Automobile Factory had already built something like Tesla. Well, and then something went wrong. Or here's another example. To prevent various strange people from bad-mouthing a great car. In Italy, tourists are still taken to Etna and Vesuvia in a Bukhanka. You see, not in some Range Rover, not in some other random damn thing, which, by the way, Italians have very good off-road vehicles. But in Bukhanka. In Italy, they use Bukhanka as the basis for producing houses, special equipment. Why? What, are Italians stupid? No, they just understand that Bukhanka is a miracle. Primitive as a rock. This is a Bukhanka. You know, a reliable, primitive, awesome car. It's a friend. It is a reliable car, regardless of what they say about it, no matter how much they criticize it, no matter their attempts to discontinue it, there's still nothing better than the Bukhanka. I doubt there ever will be. That's it for today's strange test drive. And the hunt continues.